Today we are going to make a clay flower pot using the coil method. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is I have a large collection of plastic containers. You're just going to pick out any kind of clay container you want. I've got all different shapes and sizes here, circles and rectangles. If you are really good at art, and really ambitious, you can do one of those big ones. If getting a big one like this would also be if you're really ambitious and typically get your project done early, go for those. But if you're one of those kiddos that maybe struggle getting your project done on time, go for a small one. Get it done on time and kind of right there in the middle, do a middle one. All right, so here I've done a small one, and we're also going to be making the plate that it sits in. Here's a middle size one. That's what that looks like. As you can see, the clay shrinks just a little bit as it dries, so it falls right out of the container. Here's one of the square ones, rectangle ones, and again it sits on its plate. So I'm going to show you guys how we're going to make the interior of the pot and the plate using one plastic container. I'm going to do a medium-sized one as my example, so I'm going to put all of these off to the side here and get started showing you how to make your flower pot. All right. You're going to need 2 pieces of cloth and your plastic. The first thing we need to do is to make the base. So get yourself a nice big piece of clay, squeeze it a lot to get out all the air pockets, because air pockets make clay projects go kaboom in the kiln. Roll it into a nice ball. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a ball-ish shape, and flatten it down with your roller. Turn it so that it becomes a circle. Now, if we were doing a rectangle, you would just keep rolling it one way. That would be fine. But we're doing a circle, so you want it to be circular-ish. A little bit bigger than the container you're working with. Then you're going to get a cutting tool. We have real cutting tools, but you can also use just the wire of a paper clip unfolded to cut that to size. Put it inside there because we're going to be working on the inside of our container. All right. Before we actually put it in there, though, we need to do something called slip and score, and this is how you glue clay together. You score it by opening up the clay a little bit, and you get it wet, and that creates a slip. So score and slip is something that is always happening in clay projects. Now we're going to make our coils. First, I just squeeze it into a slug, and then I roll it out. And you want to be rolling out towards the edge. Don't roll in the middle like that, because see, it gets skinny and just breaks. You want to keep even pressure along it and have it be about the size of that Sharpie there that I showed you. All right, I'm going to do another one because that one kind of broke. So see how I'm moving my hands out? Have a lot of space there for yourself. You make nice big coils here. If it gets to be a little skinny, put pressure in other places. See how I'm moving my hands around that coil? Then scrape it with the water. Scrape it with this wire brush. The wire brush creates those lines that the water can then pour into. And just curl it around the inside of your container. You want a nice dry spot on your table to roll out your coil. Now don't go back and forth like that, because you end up with just this lump. That's not a coil. So you want to go all the way out and all the way back, moving your hands from the middle to the outside, making a nice even coil. If you get your table wet, the clay will stick to your table, so that's why we're using this blue towel to get the clay wet to do the slip and scoring here. Curling it around the inside so that it forms to the edge of that container. All right, I'm going super duper fast now. I think you guys understand that you make a coil, slip and score, put it in the container, and you do that over and over again. Remember, have a nice dry table to work off of. That's why we have the towel there for you. Until you get to the top. Once you get to the top, what you want to do is you want to get your fingers nice and wet, and you're going to smooth out those coils. Just by pushing down on them, you just take you need a little bit of water there. So take the water to smooth out those coils. And some of the clay will come up above the lip of the container. That's okay, because we're going to cut that off here in a second. The more pressure you put on, the smoother it will be out here on the side. You will still have that coil effect on the outside of your pot. We're just trying to make sure that there aren't any gaps for water to leak out where we don't want water to leak out. So smooth all of that out, and that takes a little while. So I'm going to speed up here. All right, and then you're going to take off that extra that popped up above your container just by taking your pen tool and cutting it off using the edge of the container as a base. Cleaning it up your any little burrs that might be sticking out. Using the cord marker, you're just going to create a little hole, because it's important that the water pours out and doesn't just soak in the bottom of your pot, because the plants don't want that. They want drained soil, and that's you'll see that's in all flower pots. Now we're going to make the plate. Same method as making the base of your pot, which is to roll it into a ball, squish it a little bit, roll it out into a round shape. And instead of cutting it off, what we're going to do is we're going to take this fabric and we're going to lay it right there, because it will stick to the plastic, and we don't want it to stick to the plastic. We want it to be able to come off the plastic very easily, because again, clay shrinks, so if it's on the outside of the plastic, it will shrink and then crack. If it's inside, it will just shrink and fall and come out easily. You can leave this organic like draping if you want, or you can cut off the excess. You want to make sure that you can cut a nice straight line around a circle though. And then you have a lovely plate for your pot to sit in. And that is how you're going to turn it into me. Make sure you leave your name and class code on a piece of paper. You can take off the fabric after you're done and clean up any little folds or burrs there. Just cleaning up some of those little fold marks so it looks nice. Put the fabric back on. Alright, and just turn it in just like that. Make sure you write your name and class code on a piece of paper and put it on top so I know whose is whose.